Welcome back to 90 Dots Episode 4, where we talk about real stuff, feelings, friendships, and all things growth. My name is Yana.
I'm Deepti. Today's topic is something we all experience, but really don't know how to put a category or a name to the topic: love languages. Yana, when was the first time you ever understood the word love languages and who brought it up to you?
I first learned about love languages last year when I was discussing it with my therapist. She had explained to me the topic of love languages, and I was more curious to dive into it, so I did some research.
And so, what did you learn in your research?
In my research, I learned that it was started by Dr. Gary Chapman, and there are 5 different love languages: words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, um, physical touch, and one more.
You're missing one more.
One more. I think it's
So, it's words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, receiving gifts,
and physical touch.
and physical
Yeah,
touch. That's
physical
right.
touch.
So, tell me, how does each one of them resonate with your parents?
With my parents, I definitely like to receive physical touch because I think it just helps us connect more emotionally. I think that physical touch is something that I think it just brought up in our relationship.
So, do you think it varies differently between your friends and your parents?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think with my friends,
Yeah.
I enjoy more of quality time.
Yeah.
Because after a long week and we've all had school and all of that, like we like to just like do something fun and spend some time together. And I think that's where we connect the most. But I think with parents, like you and my dad, I think physical touch is something I like to receive more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, on a bad day, would you define a specific love language that you would like to receive, or do you think it's a combination of all 5?
I think it's a combination of all 5 because I think all of them can help with different scenarios
Yeah.
and different situations.
Yeah.
Whether I'm feeling sad or happy, I think it's different every time. But I do think that there are a couple I resonate with certain people.
So let's say you are in a terrible mood and your parents don't know what's going on. So how would you or how would the parent come to you and understand what love language that they can show in order for you to be able to calm down or and have like that emotional regulation?
Yeah, I think words of affirmation helps a lot with that.
Yeah.
Because I think that calms me down when they're like, it's okay, you'll be all right. Like, I know you're very, like, trust, like, I know that you're very, like, on it and you're working hard.
Yeah.
And I think that you're, I think those words, I think they mean a lot more.
So situation to situation, it would differ quite a bit.
Yeah.
Now, let's say with your friends, right? You've made some plans, and really that day, all you want to do is just have quality time. But their love language for that day is different. So how does one communicate that with the friends?
Yeah, there's a lot of situations where that has happened to me.
Okay.
Where a lot of friends mix it up and think that like every single time like I'm all about being social and going out and hanging out at the mall or like shopping. And I do like that sometimes, but I think sometimes it's also nice to stay at the house, maybe go to the park, have a chat, because I think that like a lot of people mix that up with, oh, like teenagers are expected to always be social and all of that. But I do think that there are some scenarios in which I do feel like I'm more introverted and want to stay in or like have talks.
So the question I have for you, if you had to rank your top 2, which ones do you feel the most and why? Has it always been that way or has it changed as you've grown?
I think I've mostly felt physical touch and words of affirmation like my 2 favorites because I do think that people often get the hint that those are my favorites because I'm more in a happier mood when I receive it.
Yeah.
But I do think it has changed from when I first learned about them.
Yeah.
Because I do think that I was also in a different place at that time.
Yeah.
Like I was like I'm a year older now, so I think it's just different.
Yeah.
But I do resonate with those 2 the most.
So when you first learned about them, what was the first love language that I guess that you resonated with?
I think for me it was physical touch all the time because with my friends,
you just love hugs.
yeah, I just love hugs, holding hands, like all that stuff. Like
Yeah. And so your friends, are you comfortable doing that with your friends? Or it
yeah,
takes
like
you a
I
little
put
bit
my
more?
arm around their shoulder, I hold their hands, like it's like it's just it just comes naturally to me. So I think that that's just one that I resonate with. But I think it is different for everybody. Not everyone loves physical touch.
How about your parents, though? Which one did you resonate with them the most in the beginning?
In the beginning, it was definitely words of affirmation because I do love getting I love yous and like, oh yeah, you're working hard. Oh yeah, like I really understand from where it's coming from because I think those were more emotionally deep. But I think they have changed because of how much different I've become.
So if you had to ask one question to your friends in terms of like love languages, right? So like how would you kind of teach them what love languages are, or how would you bring this topic up to them?
Um, most of the time I do, and I have straight up asked them like, "Hey, what do you like to receive?"
Yes.
Because I think it's just nice to know like which one, like, what do they like? And a lot of times my friends didn't know what they were, so I had to explain to them like, "Oh, like this is what each one are," but like I understand that like it's gonna be different for you and me because it is different for a lot of people. So, that's basically how I've actually connected with a lot of my friends too. Is like I've asked them like, "Hey, what's your love language?" And they're like, "Oh, I like quality time." I'm like, "Oh, me too." And then we both end up just like talking about that, and like I think it's a good conversation to have.
Yeah. So even for me, I think love languages has evolved quite a bit. I would say that initially it would be more about gifts, or it would be more about words of affirmation. And now for me, as I'm, navigating life and it's so busy, like I think acts of service for me are, I would say, top tier, followed by words of affirmation, because I want someone to say, oh, okay, you're doing fine and everything is going to be okay. And that kind of, regulates my emotional turmoil. And I don't have to stress about certain things in life, like, oh, okay, I know there's an assurance, like, yeah, I feel good,
Yeah.
I'm going to be okay, everything is going to be okay. So the next question I have for you is, let's put into real life scenario. Say you and your bestie sends you a long text hyping you up every day, but you kind of just want them to chill with you in person. Now that's a clash between words of affirmation and quality time. So going back to the previous question, how would you diffuse that, or how would you communicate that to your friend? Because remember, your best friend should understand you the most, right? And so give an example of how you would communicate that, and like how would you play out a scenario letting them know that today is the day X is the love language you need.
I would probably just text them back saying like, "Hey, I don't feel like doing this right now. Like I'm more interested in this." So instead of fully eliminating and be like, "No, that's not what I want to do," I bring up another suggestion of like maybe we could do this because I wasn't like I want to do this now. Like I want to change it. Like yeah.
So I would say it also brings back to the topic of communication, right?
Yeah.
I think it's important we discuss this with friends and family that, some days we're having a bad day. And so like how do we express ourselves and help someone understand that today my word of or my word of affirmation is not really going to the mall and indulging in gifts and things like that. Today is the day I actually just want a hug, and I just want to spend quality time. I think it all also boils down to communicating how your day is going. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think that as like I think as time evolves too, depending on how close you are in relationship with them or in friendship, I think that communicating with them the most is going to be the most important because sometimes people can get mixed up and do the wrong thing and then think that you're like that thing, but in reality you don't. So like maybe if someone who likes to receive gifts doesn't receive a gift on their birthday, it might make them feel emotionally upset. Or like if they don't, because I think it can get mixed up a lot of the times. Like but I think that if you can just ask them and communicate what you like with them instead of just guessing, maybe that's also not as great of a thing to do as to just ask them. Because that's what I think. I think there's no harm in just asking someone what their love language is. I think if understanding it is better than just guessing it.
Yeah, and I think it's a common assumption in relationships to think that you've liked one thing every time, so you'd always like that, which is, let's say you always like getting gifts. So then that assumption stays that, oh, she's a gift person and everything will make her happy if I just get her a gift. And that's not true, because some days you don't care for the gifts. You
Yeah.
just want the acts of service because you want to just hang out and not do anything, and you want someone else to take the burdens, right? And so in friendship, I think it's important the same way, although the acts of service can be slightly different, right? I mean, they can just come and just be with you if you're sad, or if you're not feeling like you're having the best day and you've had a hard week at school, or let's say you lost all your tennis matches, right? So you're looking forward to the weekend, and the weekend comes, and the last thing you want to do is exert your energy, right? So what's the thing you'll do is say, I just want to hang at home and maybe just go and have ice cream or something that's a little bit more low key.
Yeah, that's something I would definitely do. But I mean, sometimes there are times where I'm like, I just want to shop and with my friends. But there are also times where I'm just like telling me that, like, oh, like, it's okay, you'll get them next time. Like, you'll do good in the match next time.
Yeah.
You'll, like, you're gonna be fine. Like, sometimes that's why I like both. And I think that they're all, like, connected to each other.
Yeah.
Because I think that different activities can actually blend both together, which is the beauty of love languages, is they can mix together, and that,
Yeah.
like, everyone can like their own, but at the end of the day, like, they can all be connected through different things. And I think that's just different for everyone, and I
Yeah.
think it's the beauty of love languages.
Yeah, no, that's one of the next thing that I want to bring up with you is with parents, especially, right? I think as we navigate teenagers and teenage years, we have to be careful about what your love language is and how much it changes on a daily basis, right? So, on a vacation versus at home, versus if you've had a long day, versus let's say you had a fight with a friend, and we don't know all of these things. We're not in the know of everything that's going on. So, I would think that the first thing I would ask you is, like, I mean, I wouldn't directly ask you like, hey, what's your word of affirmation for today? I think it would be through conversation, through understanding how your day was, like, what is it that you are actually expecting today from the parents? And I mean, how do you want us to navigate your today versus an assumption of how your entire week has been, or that moment, right?
Yeah. Honestly, for me, for assumptions, I think that I don't think it really matters to me if you assume, but I think for some people it can miscommunicate and cause
Yeah,
to
it can.
misleading of what your love language really is. But I think that it depends who you are with, because like you've known me my whole life, so
Yeah.
you probably know like which way I like which love languages I like to
Yeah.
receive
Yeah.
on a given day or like a given scenario. So I
Bubble
think
tea is your love
yeah.
language.
Yeah, gum bubble tea is definitely my love language.
So, question for you is, have you ever experienced a moment where, you know, a certain love language was initiated, but it didn't really land correctly, and then it was something else you were expecting? So, has that ever happened?
Yeah, similar to what I said before, when I'm with my friends and they often mislead the fact that I like to go shopping instead of like staying in and going to the park. I think that's something that often gets that. But also with parents, I don't think it happens as much because, like I said, we're very close in relationship. Like, so it doesn't really change that much, and you give me all on a given basis. So I don't think it really resonates with me as much with you as it does with certain friends or like people I'm not as close with in school.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, I guess it's really important that we learn each other's love languages and we communicate exactly what it is that day that we are experiencing, and especially with people you're closest to, right? So, the next question I have is, have you ever noticed love languages showing up differently between you and your sibling?
Um, I think that definitely happens. I think I'm not really sure actually what her given love language like that she resonates with most is, but if I had to guess, it might be words of affirmation or
Yeah.
receiving gifts.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. But I do think that I do try and give her all of them as much as I can. I think physical touch is a little bit less, but
The least.
yeah, I think it's the least. But I do think that that the rest are like pretty much there.
So, I'll tell you what it is with me. it's physical touch.
Yeah, definitely with
She
you.
definitely gives me a hug in the morning,
Yeah.
right? So that's the first thing she, even before her eyes are open, that's the first thing
Yeah.
she likes to do
Yeah.
is give a hug. So I think her love language with
Yeah.
me is a hug.
Yeah, see, it resonates with different people.
Yeah.
It just comes naturally with different people. And like you can see as this example, like hers is like
Different.
the first thing that she does physical touch with my mother. But the thing that she does with me is more like it's like the last thing on my list. So I think it does like resonate differently with everyone. And I think that Gia definitely I think it can change for Gia as well. I think she kind of resonates with them all in
I
different
see.
ways.
So with you, my guess would be quality time.
Yeah.
So with you and me, it's quality time. With Gia and me, it's more about physical touch.
Yeah.
And with you and Gia, you said it would be acts of service.
Yeah.
So how crazy that within the three of us, that's so different. So what do you think I like from you as my love language?
Well, before you said you liked active service because you have a lot on your plate, so I do think active service is definitely one. But I do think at the end of your workday you like quality time.
Yes.
But I also think you like a hug, and you also like being told like I love you. So I think the relationship with mother and daughter, especially teen daughter and like older mother, I think that like it's more of you don't really like have a preference. Like it's kind of all of them that you would enjoy receiving. But if I had to guess one, I think it would definitely be words of affirmation or
And
acts
words
of
of
service.
so what would your words of affirmation for me be?
Like I love you. Like thank you for giving me like such a like I'm so blessed with the life that you give me. Like
Yeah.
I like that all the work that you do and all the effort that you put in. Like I think you would enjoy that more than maybe like receiving gifts or like I mean, maybe doing some couple chores. I think words of affirmation is your go-to. I think.
Yeah,
If I
I
had to
think
guess.
gifts has become one of the last ones between relationships now. I don't
Same
really
with me.
I just don't find it exciting as much as I like the words of affirmation, the support that comes with, there's a lot of meaning behind words of affirmation, right? Because that the words hold a lot of power. And so if you come to me on a hard day and just tell me like, oh, I love you, thank you for getting me bubble tea, or thanks for this and whatever. I mean, so I think that would mean the most to me than anything else. And I think my second one is acts of service, because we all know we could use extra hands in a very busy and routine life. So when you and Gia help me, I think that's very that kind of feels nice and kind and sweet to me, because I'm like, okay, they're here, we have two extra set of hands now, and I don't have to worry so much about doing the day to day, right?
Yeah, but it's different for everybody.
Yes,
Some
it is.
people actually like receiving gifts more than affirmation, but I think it is definitely changing throughout.
Throughout, yeah. And
Yeah.
so what other questions do you have for me?
Um, maybe it is. What do you like to like? You told me what you like to receive, but what do you give off the most? Maybe.
What do I give off the
Yeah,
most to
and is it
people?
different for you every time in different situations? Because you have lived on this
It
planet way
is.
longer than I have.
Yeah.
So maybe it's different. Maybe you've had a lot of changes, I'm sure.
So the number one I've always done for every single person is acts of service.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it comes very naturally to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say second to that is quality time. Like I go meet with my friends, we go for a walk, and we talk on the walk. So that's one-on-one time that I love to spend with them too. So that's quality time, right? And um gifts is a very occasional thing, because it's like someone's birthday, okay, let's get them something sweet. It's not top of mind, obviously, with friends and stuff. Now, however, with my mom, this is a strange dynamic. I usually am not used to saying any words of affirmation to her, or giving her a hug. I think with her it's more about gifts, because she resonates with like, oh my god, you got me this, and it's like it makes her day, because she doesn't go shopping, she doesn't have the time or the energy anymore. She's aging. So when I get her something, that brightens up her day, right? And then I would say next to that, or actually even before that, would be quality time. So when I take you guys to, visit her, and she's so excited to see everybody, right? Like that's just a different, I would say a different, she's in a different age bracket and a different I guess say area of life.
Yeah, like when we visit her, or even when we're on call with her, she's always like, "When are you gonna come visit me next?" I'm
That's
like,
right.
I would love to visit you anytime.
Yeah, yeah. And so I think for her, with her, it's different. I didn't know what love languages were when I was growing up, so I never really experienced that with my dad. But I can say one thing, that with him and I, it was definitely quality time. So we used to go for walks together quite a bit, and he would have a lot of conversations with me. So that helped, and that was very beneficial to bond with your parent, right? And you started with that. You like when I asked you the question about what is it that you expect from your parents, that's the number one thing you said is like, words of affirmation and quality time. So again, that matters. Okay, so let's say, how has this awareness of love languages changed for you?
This awareness has changed for me because it's made me come to realize that like being aware that different people, like everyone is different in the way that they express themselves and the way that they give off their vibe to someone else. I think it's like different for everyone. I think that's brought me awareness that like a lot of people are different and like it's okay. Like everyone can express themselves how they want to.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just the way that people are, the way that their nature is. So I think it's just the way that we give off ourselves. And I think it's just different ways that we like want to receive it and maybe want to give it to others. And I think
Yeah. Let's say I'm asking you to guess now, okay? On a percentage level, how many kids your age know what love languages are? So 80% meaning they know, 80% know what love languages are, 20% don't. So in your, let's just approximate, in your idea, what percentage that would that be?
Honestly, when I've come up to people and asked them what love language is, most of them are asking like, "What is it?"
So
But
nobody knows.
I don't think that many people know. So to
Yeah.
be honest, I think it's gonna be like around 45% of people that I've talked to. There's only a couple, like a handful that I know that are like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, my love language is this." Like I'm super interested. Like I know exactly what it is. Like
So it's rare.
so it's pretty rare to come up to someone and just ask, "Hey, what's your love language?" Especially someone my age, and
Yeah.
they're like give an immediate answer. I think it's just not something that everyone's learned about yet.
Yeah, and it
So
should be rare
yeah,
because this is the term I learned in therapy
yeah,
too. So
yeah.
it was not something I came across, when I was a kid or when I was your age or anything in college. Like I had no idea.
Yeah.
It was through therapy that I too learned what love languages were. And it's, it can vary between, I guess, your friends, your partner, your parents. It really, really varies vastly between everybody, right?
Yeah.
So now after this episode, people will at least understand and
Yeah.
learn what love languages are.
Yeah, that's why I was super interested in this topic. I was like, I
Yeah,
love this
you want to
idea.
know about it.
Yeah, I
And
want to
so
talk
I know
about
you
it.
did a in-depth research too about each of them quite a
Yeah,
bit when
yeah,
you were writing a report.
yeah,
And so I think people will be curious to learn like what it is, but I
yeah,
think the gist of it is that there are five, and
yeah,
then it can vary between all relationships, and not one has to be the only one you pick.
yeah.
It has to be like it can be a variable of, or I mean, of a variety of all of them. So how do you want to explain, how do you want to end this topic? Like, what do you want someone to learn from this?
I think I just want everyone to know that like love languages are different
Mm-hmm.
and it's not something that everyone knows about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a lot of like people are going to be super like knowledgeable on this topic. It's something that I wanted to come and bring up because I think that it's different for everybody and I think it's something important and it ties around all the topics we've already been talking about with communication and like all those sorts of things because all those revolve around what you enjoy receiving the most and just by being able to express what you enjoy the most can help others also connect with you. So whether that's with you being in a relationship or having a friendship or even just bonding closer with someone, it's something that can just automatically bring you closer. And I think love languages is a great way to experience that, and I think
And
it's
bond.
great. Yeah,
And
bond
understand.
closer and connect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think bonding with love languages, you should totally do with your friends because it's like it's actually fun too to understand where other people come from and like why they choose different love languages, and it's just a fun category.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah.
Right? You can learn.
Yeah.
So, a mini quiz. How about we ask them to ask themselves a mini quiz?
Yeah, we
So,
should.
you want to read the 3 questions we wrote down for them?
So the three questions we have for you guys are: What do I complain? What do I complain about not getting? What makes me feel seen? And what do I do that feels for others naturally?
So the first question I'll ask you first, so
Yeah.
you can answer, so
Yeah.
they understand what they need to even think about.
Yeah.
So what do I complain about not getting?
I think you complained about not getting access
From you.
from me. Yeah,
Yes.
access service.
Yes.
Because I think that's something that you kind of need to remind me of, like, hey, can you give me access service? Like, I need some dishes, like, or I need you to help me with something. I think that's something that you need to kind of remind us. So it doesn't really come as naturally as the other ones, but I do think that's something that you remind
Can
us.
I tell you what mine is actually?
What?
Physical touch from you.
Yeah.
A hug.
Yeah.
You're like a touch me not flower.
Yeah.
So I'm like, can I get a hug?
Yeah, I think physical touch, I think it only happens more when I'm sad or like when I'm with my friends. I think it doesn't really come as often when I'm like just like living around.
So it should come now that I told you what I will complain about.
Yeah, now I know. See, this is why we're educating ourselves with this.
Yeah. So what makes me feel seen?
I think words of affirmation because that's when I can tell you like, oh, like you're being seen and heard because I think that like you're working really hard or you're putting a lot of effort.
So I feel appreciated.
Yeah, I think it helps you feel more appreciated when I
nice.
give you words of affirmation.
So that you already do. So check that off your list.
Yeah.
Okay. What do I do for others naturally?
I think it's always come naturally for you with access service, but I also think quality time also comes naturally.
Yeah.
Because you're really good on like hosting for friends for dinner, and you're really good about like cooking for others and all of that, those types of things. So I think that you do that really good naturally, like for others. I think it just comes as.
So now I have 3 more sentences we need to finish. Okay.
Okay.
I feel most loved when, and you're going to answer and I'm going to answer.
Okay.
So first you answer. I feel most loved when, meaning you.
I actually think I feel most loved when I receive physical touch and words of affirmation.
I feel most love when I am appreciated. So words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Okay. I wish people knew that I appreciated when.
That's a tough one.
Okay, so I'll give you mine.
Okay.
I wish people knew that I appreciated when they give me space and understand how I really feel. So through communication, again, through I would say again words of affirmation, it's like understanding each other's feelings and especially the one that's going through what they're going through.
Okay. I wish people knew that I appreciate it when I receive words of affirmation. Like that comes from friends and you, because I do appreciate that more than like a little bit more than physical touch. I think.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But I think words of affirmation is up there, and I don't think a lot of people like give me that.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that I definitely like the most.
One small thing someone did for me that meant a lot was.
I think with active service because I've made new friends this school year, and I think those friends helped me a lot with my homework and like collaborating on projects that I didn't think that we would collaborate on. Because I think it's something that I never really got before, and I think it's just something that surprised me. But it was something that I did enjoy. So
for me, it is quality time.
Yeah.
I think that means the most because I get to talk to them. I can brainstorm ideas. I can go through some of the things, and them being a sounding board is very much appreciated.
Yeah. Well, I do think that this is a fun quiz, and I think that you guys should try it out with your friends too, or family, because it's super fun, and you get to know each other better through that. Like, I've learned a lot more about her now. So,
like, comment, share, ask us questions, tell us what the next topic should be.
Yeah.
Follow us on YouTube and Instagram, 98 Dots, and
maybe
tell us what the next topic should be, and we'll come up with something.
Yeah, and also maybe let us know what your favorite love language is, and maybe we'll see how popular each one is.
Yep.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.